Here we are out on a kind of a rainy August, first week of August. Had a real rainy July up here in Alaska, and it looks like it's going to be a rainy August as well. You can hear it coming down a little bit. Hiding out under this tree. Seeing if this is going to pass, but I don't think it's going to. The day started out halfway decent, but it's slowly going straight downhill. Looks like it's going to be rainy all day. But, oh well. That's what you got to do. Get out on the trails. As you can see, I've got the little 40-inch agricultural tires on there. Little set of Ags. Look at that. Got a decent price on them. Had to get them. Just to put them on, run them for a while. A year or two maybe. Rest of this year, through the winter. See if I like them. Just to find out the hype. The big buggies run the Ags. And they do incredible. But that's, everything is size relevant. Of course you're going to run Ags in a big tire and they're going to do very, very well. They're going to cut down into the mud a little better. But for this little rig Ags, so far not too bad. I can go places and not have to air the tires down, which is what I really like. Not putting all that pressure and everything on the steering and all the other components. And with that traction, I'm getting just as good a traction as if I'm running 38, with beadlocks aired down to, 3 PSI, which puts a tremendous lot of, pressure on everything. And, I break ring and pinion gears, break some other small parts. So hopefully the Ags running on way less, contact patch. That contact area is going to be so much smaller with these Ags. And so far it has been. And it's easier to turn, a little easier to maneuver in deeper mud. The wet hill climbs, I just did some this morning. They perform just as well, as that everything else, in the hard packed wet stuff. It's a tractor tire. It's going to have the traction no matter what. But there's definite other benefits to running them, as long as you're not going too crazy and getting them too big. And these are actually lighter than the 38s on the beadlock wheels. So I'm happy with that. So they seem to be doing fairly well. And I'll continue to run them. And run them into the winter, and do some snow wheeling with them and find out what all the hype is and in the snow if they're any good. But today I'm just out playing around. Gonna go further back into the woods. Get into the deep dark woods that way. Stay out of the open because of the rain. Just kind of make a day of it. Didn't do a whole lot in July. Just kind of let it rain, let the mud get built up. As June was super hot. Super hot spring, dried everything out. Now we're getting back to where the normal mud is supposed to be. So it's time to get back out on it and cruise around and just get back out in the woods. You can see it's still green here, but just starting to die off. You can just start seeing a little bit of brown. The green's starting to fade away just ever so slightly. So, we got several more weeks before, it really starts to turn to fall. But, typical August. Fantastic. Get out in it. Got some bear tracks in this area. I always see bear tracks down in here. Not a very big one, but bear nonetheless. All right. We're in a nice little area right here. Got some some old mud. This mud has been here a long time. I've been stuck in this multiple times over the years. This is good, thick mud. Kind of gnarly area I just came through. There's a little creek down there, and you come up this little hill and you fall into this great big rut, and it tips the whole vehicle sideways and you can't get out of it. So I just went out of that. Now I'm looking to work my way through this. There's the other side of it. Like I said, this isn't that deep, but it's really thick, old thick mud. Primitive stuff out here. Fantastic area. See, I got a ledge to climb over there. Yeah, this is a fantastic area to get into in a couple times every summer. Nobody around. Doesn't look like there's anyone even scouting hunting back in here this year. Usually there's a lot more ATV action. There's some buggy tracks back there. They turned around at the camp spot, probably a quarter of a mile back. So get down here, and this is no man's land. Primitive stuff, but no place better to be on a Sunday afternoon. Let's get in it. It was a pretty good test of the ag tires. Walked right through it nicely. Climbed this hill right here, this little bank. Super happy about that. So normally I winch right at this spot. This is the first time I've ever been able to drive this spot completely without winching. This stuff was all filled in nice, so it wasn't super deep, but it did, I got down in it and had to make those tires work. Get down in there like a tractor and just chug it through. But what I'm super happy about is this little action here. I mean, this bank doesn't look it doesn't look like much, of course. But the problem is your front tires hit that part of this root system of that birch tree over there. And it always perfect for these smaller rigs. Front tire lands right there, and you just sit there and spin on it. And I've tried this with multiple different tires, Trepadors, the Mickey Thompsons, and it's always the same result. I get right here, and the front tire just, even though that tire over there is locked and spinning, it's hard packed, but you're just spinning on that root system. And I've spun clear off the trail before and had to winch back onto the trail and winch up over that. And it doesn't matter how fast you hit it, how aggressive you are, you end up bouncing, and it just perfect placement right there every time. And you just do four-wheel burnout, and then you undercut this bank back here with your rear tires, and that's soft stuff. So I mean, it just churns fast, and so every time you try it, you end up cutting this bank out more and more with your rear tires, and then you end up giving up and winching. This is one of those spots where it's, if you don't get it the first time, you're done. No matter how hard you try, it's just going to get worse. But right now, the Ags did what they're supposed to do. Climbed the bank nice, and then you can see where that front one hooked up nicely. And got its traction right there. And didn't spin, didn't do anything. Tracted right over it like it's supposed to do it. And yeah, I'm super happy with that. That's a really good test of the ag tires. I was at this spot early in the spring. This was all snow. Go back and watch that video. It's pretty cool. But this is the same spot. Little swamp right here. Beautiful little swamp. So the trail kind of just winds down here, and Doesn't really go anywhere. You know, as the swamp this time of year, you can't see any of the tracks or anything like that. Everything's all grown up, nice and lush. Got in some pretty good mud right here. I went, you know, about a couple hundred more yards to the edge of the swamp, and you know, the little ag tires did what they're supposed to in the swampy stuff. You know, you want the flotation, and you want that super aggressive tread. It just pulls you right along through. You know, as long as you got a little bit of vegetation to grab hold of, those little tires do their job. And you know, I'm only gonna get stuck in the deep spots where, you know, there's an impression, or, you know, a depression with like a little small stream running through it. You know, that's traditionally where the mud is super deep, and you just kind of drive right into it and you instantly know you're stuck. And with the lightweight rig, you know, you hook up winch and it just pops right out super easy. I've never stuck more than for just a couple minutes. But super cool area anyways. I'm going to sit here for a few minutes, get something to eat, sheltered from the rain. It's starting to rain again. I know I can get out of here relatively easy. A lot easier in the summer than it is in the winter, because I had a heck of a time getting out of here. You know, in the early spring there, with the snow still on the ground, because from here, the first mile or so is about uphill. Just, you know, not hill climbs or anything, but it's just a gradual uphill. And you get, you know, a foot of snow or whatever, and makes everything super difficult. But with this terrain right now, the vegetation and everything is super traction. You know, I can just cruise right up it. But I wanted to get out here into this deep dark swamp a little bit, play around, and test those tires a little bit. And, you know, they're doing exactly what I knew they would do. I was out into some really, really deep mud 2 weekends ago, you know, swamp crawling stuff, and you know, so I had a pretty good idea already. But you know, they're doing what they're supposed to do, so I'm happy. For now, it's lunchtime, and continue on with this little adventure. Got some homemade bread and sardines, the best. Rain's really coming down now. I'm on my way out of here. Too much rain. The mud is starting to get deep. Yeah, I'm a few miles back here, and I do not want to get stuck out here for the remainder of the night. So, before the wood gnomes start playing tricks on me, Bigfoot shows up, tips my rig over or something crazy like that, I'm getting out of here. Got about 2 more miles trail left to get back to the main trail. Been out here on a kind of a different trail than one I was on before, playing around, and yeah, it's getting just too nasty out here. I'm getting all wet inside the vehicle. It's gonna be a wet, cold ride home, but get out of here while the getting's good. Get the rig's all dirty. Nice little safe spot. Back in here. The mushrooms growing. Mushroom season. Time for me to get on out of here while the getting's good. Rig's filthy. Everything held up nice. Just chugging along out here. Brutal conditions is the worst of it when it's raining like this. Trails in Alaska, everything gets slippery. You know, the mud starts to loosen up and get deeper. Yeah, it's time to get on out of here.